Good morning, student. Today in this video we have describing about the chapter 13, that is the sound. First, you all know that what is a sound. Sound is a form of energy which can propagate into a material medium, that is solid, liquid and gas. And how do you come to know that period is over in your school? You have come to know easily that someone is at your doorstep when he or she knocks, or you hear the sound of the doorbell. Most of the time you can make out that someone is approaching you by just learning or hearing the footstep. Next, that in this chapter we have discussed that how is sound produced, how does it travel from one place to another, how do we hear sound, and why are some sounds are louder than other. We shall discuss in this chapter. First, how sound is produced. Sound is produced by a vibrating body. Discuss our activity 13.2. Take a metallic plate or a pan, hang it at convenient place in such a way that it does not touch any wall. Now strike it with a stick. Do you hear a sound? Yes, we can hear a sound. And touch the plate or pan gently with your finger. Do you feel the vibration? Yes, we can feel the vibration when we strike with a stick on a metallic pan. Now, how under the sound is produced by a vibrating body. Activity 13.2. Take a rubber band and put it around the longer side of the pencil box. Insert two pencils between the box and stretched. When we stretch the rubber, vibration is produced and sound is here. As we learned in the class 7 that to and fro or back and forth motion of an object is called vibration. When it is tightly stretched band is plugged at it is happening in the 13.2, it vibrates and produces sound. When I stop vibrating, it does not produce sound. We see that a vibrating object produces sound. In some cases, vibration are easily visible to us, but in most cases, why it is not visible? Because their amplitude is so small that we cannot see them. And many musical instrument and their vibrating part is there. First musical instrument we have discussed, that is the veena, that is vibrating part which produces sound is a stretch string. Second musical instrument is about the tabla. It is the vibrating producing sound producing part is stretch membrane. Third one is flute, that is vibrating part producing sound is air column. And fourth is dholak, that is the stretch membrane. And sitar again is vibrating sound producing part is stretch string. So you have familiar with the musical instrument and their vibrating parts also. In activity 13.5, we have discussed making of a musical instrument which is known as a jal tarang. To make a jal tarang, take a 6 to 8 balls or tumbler, fill them with the water up to different level, increase gradually from one end to the other. Now take a pencil and strike the balls gently. Strike all of them in succession. Succession means that is in the ascending or increasing order, and we will hear a pleasant sound. Actually, when we pluck the string of an instrument like a sitar, the sound that we hear is not only that of the string, the whole instrument is forced to vibrate, and sound of the vibration of the instrument that we hear. Similarly, when we strike the membrane of a mridangam or a tabla, the sound that we hear is not only that of the membrane but the whole body vibration. Next is sound produced by the human. In humans, the sound is produced by the voice box or larynx, and this part of the body is known as voice box. It is situated at the upper end of the windpipe, and two vocal cords are stretched across the voice box or larynx in such a way that it leaves a narrow slit between them for passage of air. When lungs force through the slit, the two vocal cords vibrate, producing sound, and we can change our voice by Muscles attached to the vocal cords can make cords tight or loose. When the vocal cords are tight and thin, the type of quality of voice is different when they are loose and thick. Next is the size of about the size of the vocal cord of male and female. The vocal cord in men are about 20 millimeter long. In women, these are about 15 millimeter long, and children have very short vocal cord. This is the reason why the voices of the men, women, and children are different. In the next section, we discuss that sound needs medium for its propagation. In this topic, we will discuss an activity 13.7, that is the take a metal or a glass tumbler, make sure that it is dry, place a cell phone in it, and ask your friend to give a ring on this cell phone from another cell phone. Listen to the ring carefully. Now surround the rim of the tumbler, put it in your hand, and put your mouth on the glass tumbler. When you are opening between your hand, indicate to your friend, give a ring again, and listen to the ring while sucking the air from the tumbler. Does the sound become fainter as you suck air? The answer is yes, because as we suck the air, there is no medium and sound cannot be travel in the, there is no medium. Remove the tumbler from your mouth, and does the sound become loud again? Yes, when we remove the tumbler from our mouth, the sound become louder again. Can you think of an explanation? Is it possible to decreasing amount of air in the tumbler has something to do decreasing loudness of the ring? Yes, it is the directly proportional. When we suck the air from the tumbler, the decreasing loudness is decreasing. Indeed, if you had able to suck all the air of the tumbler, you will not listen to any sound. Actually, sound needs medium to travel, and when air has been removed completely from a vessel, it is said that there is a vacuum and in the vessel, and that there is a vacuum in the vessel, and sound cannot travel in a vacuum. Activity 13.8, to show whether sound move in a liquid medium or not. To illustrate this example, take a bucket or bathtub and fill it with a clean water. Take a small bell in one hand and shake the bell inside the water to produce sound. Make sure that bell does not touch the body of the bucket or tub, and place your ear gently with the water surface. And can you hear the sound of the bell? Yes, we can hear the sound of the bell, because sound also can travel in a liquid medium. In activity 13.9, we have to discuss that if sound can travel through solid also. For this activity, we have take a meter scale, a long metal rod, and hold this one into your ear, and ask your friend to gently scratch or tap the other end of the scale. And can we hear the sound of scratching? Yes, definitely we can hear the sound of the scratching. Ask your friend to around if they are able to hear the same sound. Your answer will be yes. Your friend can able to hear the same sound of scratching also. So we have learned so far that vibrating object produce sound, and it is carried in all direction in a medium. The medium could be gas, a liquid, or a solid. And next topic we have covered in this video, that how do we hear it. We hear sound through our ears. The hearing sense is for responsible for hearing. There is a sense organ known as ear. The shape of the outer part of ear is like a funnel, and when sound is enters it travels down in a canal, at the end of which there is a thin stretch membrane, and it is called an eardrum. It performs an important function. To understand what the eardrum does, and let us build a tin can model of eardrum. And take a to build a tin can model of eardrum, take a plastic or a tin can, cut its end, scratch a piece of rubber balloon across one end of the can, and fasten with a rubber band. Put your 4 or 5 grains and dry cereal on the stretched rubber. Now ask your friend to speak some words that like hurrah, and from the open end observe what happens to the grain. Why do the grains jump up and down? The grains up and down because of vibration produced. The eardrum is like a stretched rubber sheet, and sound vibration make the eardrum to vibrate. The eardrum sends vibration to the inner ear. From there, the signal goes to the brain through the auditory nerve, and that is how here. First vibration is produced through our eardrum, and it is go through the auditory canal, and auditory from the auditory canal it is goes through the inner ear known as cochlea, and from where that is the auditory nerve, it is go through the brain. Next, we have to discuss about some characteristics, that is the amplitude, time period and frequency of vibration. Under this section, we have to understand first that what is the oscillatory motion. You have already learned in this previous section that to and fro motion of an object is known as vibration, and this motion is known as oscillatory motion. About the oscillatory motion, then we have discussed about its frequency. What do you understand by the frequency? The number of oscillation per second is called frequency, and frequency is expressed in a unit called hertz. And after the frequency, we have discussed that amplitude, it is the maximum displacement by an object to complete one oscillation is known as its amplitude. Amplitude of sound is proportional to the square of loudness of sound is proportional to the square of the amplitude of the vibration producing the sound. For example, if we increase the amplitude twice, the loudness increases by factor of 4, and loudness is expressed in a unit called a decibel. The loudness of sound depends on its amplitude, and when the amplitude of vibration is large, the sound produces loud, and when the amplitude is small, the sound produces feeble. The frequency determines shrillness or pitch of a sound. If the frequency of vibration is higher, the sound is shrill and has a higher pitch, and if the frequency of vibration is lower, that the sound has a lower pitch. For example, a drum vibrates with low frequency, therefore it produces a low pitched sound. On the other hand, whistle has a high frequency, therefore it produces a sound of higher pitch. Similarly, an example to illustrate between the pitch and the loudness, a bird makes high pitch sound whereas a lion makes a low pitched roar. However, roar of lion is very loud because it is governed by its amplitude, while sound of bird is quite feeble because it is. Every day we can hear the voices of children and adults, and do you find any difference in their voice? Of course, we can find the differences between the child and the adult. And can we say that frequency of the voice of a child is higher than that of an adult? Usually, the voice of a woman has a higher frequency than that of a man. Next is what type of sound is audible to our ear and what type of sound which is not audible to your ear. The frequency, in fact, the sound of frequency is less than 20 vibration per second and above 20,000 vibration per second is not perceivable to the human ear. That's why it is inaudible sound. And audible, the range of audible sound is 20 to 20,000 hertz. Some animals can hear sound of frequencies higher than 20,000 hertz. Dogs have this ability. The police use high frequency whistles to dog can hear, but humans cannot. The ultrasound equipment familiar for investigation tracking of medical problems work at higher than frequency of 20,000 hertz. That's why it is named as ultrasound, because it is inaudible sound. What is the difference between noise and music? Suppose the construction work is going on in your neighborhood. Are the sound coming from construction site is pleasing? Of course not. And do you enjoy the sound produced the horn of the buses and the trucks? No. Such unpleasant sound are called noise. And in a classroom, if all the students speak together, what we should produce called, it is also a kind of unpleasant sound and we can call it noise. On the other hand, we enjoy the music from musical instrument, and the sound which is pleasing to our ear is known as music. And after discussing the difference between the noise and the music, we have discussed about the noise pollution. Presence of excessive or unwanted sound in the environment is called noise pollution. And sources of noise pollution, major causes of noise pollution are sound, vehicles, explosion including bursting of crackers, machine, loudspeaker, and in our home, television, transistor at high volume, some kitchen appliances, desert cooler, air conditioner all contribute to the noise pollution. What are the harms of the noise pollution? Presence of excessive noise in the surrounding may cause many health related problems, that is lack of sleep, hypertension, anxiety and many more health disorder may be caused noise pollution. A person who is exposed to a loud sound continuously may get temporary or even permanent impairment of hearing. Last topic in the sound is measure to limit the noise pollution. To control the noise, we must control sources of noise. How can this be achieved? For this, silencing devices must be installed in the aircraft engines, transport vehicles, industrial machines, and home appliances. And second point is all noisy operation must be conducted away from the residential area. Third, all the sound producing industry should be set up away from the residential area, and use the automobile horns should be minimized. TV and music system should be run at a low volume, and trees must be planted along the roads and around the buildings to cut down on the sound reaching the residents, thus reducing the harmful effects of the noise pollution. This is about the all about the sound, that is how is sound produced and how can sound propagate in a material medium, and that is the difference between noise and music, noise pollution and harms of noise pollution. Okay, thank you.